Graduation day is here. You're standing at the edge of everything you've worked for, and the world is watching. Everyone expects something big. But what if your first step isn't launching a career, changing the world, or even having it all figured out? What if it's something as simple as making your bed? Admiral William H. McRaven's Make Your Bed was born from a viral graduation speech and shaped by the toughest military training on Earth. Inside are 10 life lessons every graduate needs. Tools for building resilience, courage, and character in a world that won't hand you a syllabus. If you're wondering how to step into your future with confidence, this might be the wisest place to start. If we haven't met yet, hi, I'm Shannon, your Barefoot Librarian. After years as a librarian and English teacher with a master's degree in education, I've read a lot of nonfiction. And honestly, most of it is overcomplicated and underwhelming. But when a book is simple, sharp, and instantly applicable, I pay attention. Make Your Bed isn't long, but don't let that fool you. Every chapter delivers a punch of wisdom forged in Navy SEAL training and refined for real life. I've dug through Admiral McRaven's 10 lessons to bring you the kind of truth that sticks. The kind of advice you'll actually remember when life gets hard, confusing, or messy, as it so often does. So today, in honor of graduation season, we're diving into the top 10 life lessons from a Navy SEAL. Lessons that might just shape the way you start this next chapter. Lesson 1, start your day with a task completed. One of the book's most powerful life lessons comes right at the beginning. Now, I know what you're thinking. How is making your bed going to change the world? But hear me out. When you make your bed first thing in the morning, you're setting the tone for the rest of your day. It's a small win, something simple, but it's yours. And that small sense of accomplishment can snowball into bigger wins as the day goes on. As Admiral McRaven puts it, if you want to change the world, start by making your bed. For graduates stepping into a world that might feel overwhelming or uncertain, this lesson couldn't be more important. You might not have everything figured out yet, and that's okay. But start with one small intentional action that grounds you each day. Make your bed, take a walk, drink a glass of water. These small routines anchor you in purpose, and trust me, they add up. And here's the beauty of it. No matter what happens throughout your day, when you return to your room at night, you'll see that at least you did one thing right. That small act of making your bed reminds you that even on the toughest days, you are capable of accomplishing something. So go ahead, make your bed tomorrow morning and see how it feels. You've already won your first victory of the day. Lesson 2, you can't go it alone. This one's all about the importance of teamwork. In his book, McRaven shares a powerful message. None of us are immune from life's tragic moments. But if you find someone to share the paddle with you, you'll never be alone. And I get it. After graduation, it can feel like you're expected to tackle everything on your own. But here's the thing. You don't have to. Whether it's a job search, grad school, or a big move to a new city, success will come faster and life will feel richer when you do it with community. McRaven tells a story that really drives this point home. During SEAL training, he came down with a bad flu. He was barely able to keep his head above water, but was determined not to wash out of training. The team had grueling paddle drills where each man had to paddle heavily to keep this inflatable boat going as a team. In this condition, McRaven struggled to keep up, but his teammates didn't let him flounder. They stepped up, paddling extra hard to give him a bit of a break during that drill. In those moments, they showed him the true meaning of teamwork, pushing forward together, no matter the challenge, no man left behind. Fast forward a little bit, and McRaven found himself in a position to return the favor. Some of those same teammates got sick later on during training, and then it was his turn to help them. They had each other's backs, and that's what carried them through. Life's tough, but when you have people to lean on, the load gets a lot easier to bear. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Whether it's a mentor, a friend, or a family member, having a support network isn't just a nice idea, it's essential. Life can throw all kinds of curveballs your way, but with the right people in your corner, you'll never have to face it alone. And just as important, don't forget to offer your help when others need it. The road ahead might be challenging, but with the right people by your side, you'll never have to walk it alone. Build your network intentionally. Ask for advice when you need it, and give it when you can. Seek out people who will lift you up during tough times and cheer you on when you're on the right track. Life is a lot easier when you're paddling together. Lesson 3, only the size of your heart matters. This one really hits home. It's a simple yet powerful reminder that it's not about your status, appearance, or what you've accomplished. It's about the grit, kindness, and spirit you bring to the table. McRaven shares a story from his time at SEAL training that made this lesson crystal clear. When he first arrived at the SEAL school, he was uncertain about what to expect. But then he saw a tiny, unassuming man who didn't seem like he belonged. In that moment, McRaven thought to himself, "At least there's someone here worse off than me." He felt smugly relieved, thinking that no matter how tough things got, at least he wasn't as small or seemingly incapable as this other guy was. But then McRaven's world was turned upside down. The tiny man wasn't a trainee. He was a decorated war hero, a highly experienced, successful SEAL. His size didn't define his strength, resilience, or ability. This humbling moment shook McRaven to his core. It was a powerful reminder that greatness isn't measured by appearances or status, but by the size of your heart, your will to succeed, and your character. For graduates, this is a crucial lesson as you step into the next chapter of your life. In a world that often celebrates titles, followers, and superficial achievements, remember, your character will outshine all of that. Show up with integrity. Be the person who is humble, who works hard, who perseveres through challenges. Be the one others want on their team, because that's what will make a lasting impact. Lesson 4, life's not fair, drive on. In SEAL training, there's a term that gets thrown around to remind you that life's not always going to play fair. Sugar cookie. It's the name for someone who has to roll in the sand, stay there all day, covered in sand, soaking wet, and completely miserable. And here's the kicker. It's not because you did anything wrong. It's completely up to the instructor's whim. Sometimes you could be doing everything right, but for some reason beyond your control, the instructor would just decide that you needed to become a sugar cookie and get sand packed in all of the crevices all day. And then you'd have to continue with everything else as normal. You'd still do your training, your drills, your studying, all while being covered head to toe in sand, making you cold, miserable, and uncomfortable for the entire day. McRaven shares how this happened to him on multiple occasions, and it's a lesson that stuck. Sometimes, no matter how well you prepare or how well you perform, you still end up as a sugar cookie in life. The key lesson here is about emotional resilience. Even when life's unfair and things aren't going your way, you don't get to quit. You keep going. You can't always control your circumstances, but you can control your reaction to those circumstances. For graduates, entering the real world might feel like a constant stream of sugar cookie moments, whether it's unfair treatment at work, not landing your dream job, or just facing roadblocks when you least expect them. Life will hand you challenges that don't seem fair, and often you won't have control over them. But McRaven's advice is clear. Don't get stuck in bitterness. Practice resilience. Control what you can and let go of what you can't. Life's not fair, but how you respond to it can shape the path ahead. Lesson 5, failure can make you stronger. One of the most powerful stories in McRaven's Make Your Bed comes from the concept he calls the circus. In SEAL training, the circus wasn't a fun fair. It was a brutal, punishing, extra session designed for trainees who didn't meet the performance standards. Picture this. After a full day of intense drills, if you fell short in any way, you were sent to the circus for hours of even more grueling physical training. The kicker? You had to get up and perform the very next day, just like everyone else, even though your body was completely wiped from the night before. It was a vicious cycle. Fail? Go to the circus and get more tired. Fail again? Go back to the circus. McRaven and his partner found themselves in this downward spiral after a swim drill, facing one circus after another. They could have easily been defeated by the fatigue and frustration, but instead of letting the circus break them, they decided to change their mindset. They faced each challenge with more resolve, pushing themselves harder than ever. By the end of their training, they didn't just survive at the circus, they dominated the exercise that put them there in the first place, finishing at the top of their class. This story is all about embracing failure. The circus wasn't a punishment, it became an opportunity to prove that failure isn't the end. In fact, failure can make you stronger if you face it head on and learn from it. This lesson is one that can be applied to every area of life, whether you're starting a new job, pursuing a dream, or navigating personal challenges. Failure doesn't define you, it refines you, if only you let it. You can't grow without setbacks, and you'll never reach your potential if you shy away from difficult situations. McRaven's experience in the circus teaches us that the risks worth taking often scare us, but we can't back down. If you want to change the world, don't back down from the sharks. For graduates, there's no shortage of scary moments ahead.
That job interview, that big move to a new city, or that dream you've been sitting on for too long.
It's time to step up and face those fears. Embrace them, learn from the failures, and use those lessons to grow stronger. So, think about one thing you've been afraid to do, and take the first step toward it this week. Don't let fear of failure hold you back. After all, the greatest growth often comes from stepping outside of your comfort zone and embracing the challenges that come with it. Lesson 6, you must dare greatly. One of the most memorable lessons McRaven shares in Make Your Bed comes from a pivotal moment during his SEAL training. He was tackling a difficult rope climb, a part of the course that seemed impossible to conquer. The trick was, to succeed, you had to climb the rope both quickly and efficiently. But McRaven had been struggling. He couldn't get the speed he needed to make the best time. And that's when it hit him. Maybe, just maybe, he could risk something bigger. Instead of taking the traditional cautious approach, McRaven decided to dive down the rope head first. I cannot even imagine that. It was a risky move, but it was the kind of bold action that could lead to big rewards. And just as he hoped, it worked. Not only did he achieve a personal best time, but he also earned the admiration of his instructor. The risk paid off in a way he didn't expect, and it made him realize that sometimes you can't be afraid to take that leap. This is a powerful lesson that applies to all of us, especially when it comes to navigating life after graduation. It's easy to hold back, to play it safe, to wait for the perfect moment. But here's the thing, if you want to change the world, you have to dare greatly. Sometimes the risks are big, and sometimes the fear of failure can make you hesitate. But the world opens up to those who take chances. You won't know what you're capable of unless you take that first step into the unknown. Graduates, listen up. That job you've been eyeing, the project you've been waiting to launch, or the idea you've been putting off because you feel unqualified, they're all waiting for you to take the risk. Don't let fear keep you on the sidelines. Apply for the job, launch the project, say yes, even if you feel like you're not ready yet. For me, this lesson really hit home. A few years ago, I reached out to dozens of authors to see if they would be willing to chat with me about their work. I'll be honest, I didn't expect much. After all, I sent out over 90 emails and received exactly one response. But that one response changed everything. It came from one of my favorite authors of all time. Not only did we chat, but he agreed to record a 3-part podcast episode to talk about 3 of his best books. It was a total shock, and honestly, one of the most amazing experiences of my career. But here's the thing, none of that would have happened if I hadn't dared to send those emails. All 90 plus failures led to one incredible win. It was so worth it, and I am incredibly grateful that I took the chance. So don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. Sometimes the best rewards come from the risks you're willing to take, even if it's just 1 out of 90 that pans out. That's what makes it all worth it. Lesson 7, stand up to the bullies. In this chapter, McRaven shares the unforgettable experience of facing a daunting open ocean swim, a defining moment of his SEAL training. The swim took place in shark-infested waters, where the threat wasn't just hypothetical. Great white sharks, some of the most intimidating creatures in the ocean, circled below. The instructors, who were typically there to guide and protect, even if in their own way, couldn't really do anything for them. The trainees were on their own. McRaven and his fellow candidates had to dive in knowing the sharks were there. The fear wasn't just real, it was paralyzing. But McRaven quickly realized that fear thrives on intimidation. The longer they hesitated, the more the sharks seemed to loom larger in their minds. But there's a lesson to be learned there. Standing up to the fear was the only way to make it through. The sharks, whether it was the looming fear of failure, judgment, or the unknown, could only control them if they let them. The trainees weren't just fighting the ocean or the sharks, they were fighting their own minds. And when McRaven chose to stand tall in the face of his fear, he found that the sharks lost their power over him. As terrifying as it was, he swam through that fear, and in doing so, he proved that courage isn't the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward anyway. So my friends, as you move forward into this next chapter of life, you're going to face bullies. Some of them external and some of them internal.
These are the critics, the toxic environments, the systems that make you question your worth.
It's easy to shrink in the face of them, to back down in fear. But just like McRaven in those shark-infested waters, you can choose to stand your ground. Whether it's respectfully standing up to a demanding boss, speaking the truth in the face of opposition, or confronting your own self-doubt, don't let the bullies, whatever form they take, have the power. Set your boundaries. Speak up when it matters. Protect your values and your vision for the future. Because when you stand up to the sharks in your life, you'll find that they no longer have the hold on you they once did. And just like McRaven, you'll discover that the courage to face fear head on is key to overcoming it. Lesson 8, rise to the occasion. It's easy to be our best when everything is going great, but the real test, that happens in the dark. Toward the end of SEAL training, the students are sent on one of their most dangerous missions, a night dive. They have to swim underwater toward an enemy ship, plant a practice mine, and return to shore, all without being detected. There are no lights, no backup. The ocean is pitch black and unforgiving. McRaven remembers that even the instructors, hardened Navy SEALs themselves, seemed uneasy. They couldn't protect the trainees in that moment. The stakes were high. One mistake could mean serious injury or worse. But here's what separates elite performers from the rest. They keep calm in the chaos. They rise to the occasion. They complete the mission, even when the conditions are terrifying. And it's not just about military dives. McRaven reflects on how some of the darkest moments in life, losing loved ones, national tragedies, personal heartbreak, have a strange way of drawing out our very best. When the world falls apart, people come together. That story stuck with me because life isn't just about calm waters. It's about who we become when everything feels like it's falling apart. I've lived through seasons that have left me breathless. Times when grief or pressure or plain old exhaustion made it hard to see straight. And while I wouldn't choose those moments again, I know they shaped me. They proved I could keep going. They reminded me that I'm stronger than I thought I was. The next few years won't always be smooth sailing. There will be disappointments, transition, stress, and unexpected loss. But how you respond to hardship will shape your character. And when things get hard, it doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means you're being refined. When difficulty hits, don't freeze or flee. Take your breath and ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be right now? Then show up like that person, one moment at a time. Lesson 9, give people hope. Y'all, this was one of my favorite stories in the whole book. Picture this. It's Wednesday of Hell Week, what's known as the most brutal stretch of Navy SEAL training. By this point, the trainees haven't slept in days. Their bodies are wrecked, their minds are foggy. That night, the instructors march the class into the freezing cold mudflats, shoulder to shoulder, neck deep in sludge, and tell them to stay put. Then, they make an offer. If just 5 men quit, the rest of the class can come out of the mud and rest for a while. They even throw in some hot coffee and a warm fire. And wouldn't you know it, one man starts walking toward it. You could feel the energy shift. The class was about to break. Once one person quits, others will follow. But then, someone started singing. Loud, off-key, not a care in the world. Then another guy joined in, and another. Before long, the whole class was singing, laughing, shivering in the dark, but singing anyway. And the man who was walking away, he stopped, turned around, came back to the line, linked arms with McRaven, and stayed. That moment hit me. Not because the mud got any warmer or the pain went away, but because one single voice sparked enough hope to turn the whole scene around. Later in the chapter, McRaven shares a story about General John Kelly, who comforted the families of fallen soldiers after a devastating helicopter crash. There was nothing anyone could say to take the pain away, but just being there, offering presence and compassion, gave people the strength to carry on. As McRaven puts it, hope is the most powerful force in the universe. Life will have muddy seasons, moments when everything feels heavy, cold, and completely unfair. But someone out there is watching you, listening, waiting to see what you'll do. And you have the power to offer what the world needs most: a little hope. Your Barefoot Challenge is to find one person this week whom you can encourage. Send a text, say the thing, be the one who sings in the mud and reminds someone that they're not alone. Lesson 10, never, ever quit. If you only remember one thing from this entire book, let it be this: don't ring the bell. In SEAL training, there is a shiny brass bell that sits in the middle of the compound. If you've had enough at any point, if your body's broken, your mind's unraveling, and you're just done, you don't have to explain yourself. Just walk over and ring the bell 3 times and all of your pain ends. Training is over. So is your dream of becoming a SEAL. Throughout his life, McRaven watched people endure incredible hardship. Like one soldier who survived a bomb blast and could have had every reason to give up. But he didn't. He didn't complain, he didn't wallow, he just got to work healing and rebuilding piece by piece. That kind of grit, it's rare, but it's powerful. By the way, that kid was 19 years old. Anyway, here's what I want to say. You will have moments when you want to quit. Not just on big things like careers or dreams, but on smaller, sneakier things too. Like showing up when no one's going to notice. Starting over when life knocks the wind out of you. Believing in yourself after a long season of failure. Because those times come. But don't ring the bell. Rest if you need to. Pivot, adjust, crawl if you have to, but keep going. McRaven wraps up his speech with these words that still give me chills. If you want to change the world, don't ever, ever ring the bell. So, my graduating friends, this is it. You've crossed the stage, you've earned the diploma, but the real test is coming. And when life gets messy, which it will, you get to decide what kind of person you'll be. Will you ring the bell or keep moving forward? Those who quit may think it's an easy way out, but they'll live with the regret for the rest of their lives. And that regret is far heavier than the challenges you're facing. Open a planner, the notes app on your phone, or even scribble it on your hands, but write these words down somewhere. I don't quit. I adjust, I grow, I keep going. Because that is who you are. You don't need to have it all figured out. But if you can, make your bed. Battle with others. Stand tall in the storm and never ring the bell. You're already on your way. The world needs graduates who live with purpose. As you step into the next season, let Admiral McRaven's words echo in your heart. Start each day with a task completed. Find someone to help you through life. Respect everyone. Know that life is not fair and that you will fail often. But if you take some risks, face down the bullies, lift up the downtrodden, and never, ever give up, if you do these things, then you can change your life for the better. And maybe the world too. Remember, your journey is about more than just the destination. It's about who you become along the way. So keep showing up, keep taking those risks, and keep helping others. The world needs you exactly as you are, stepping into your purpose. Comment below and let me know which lesson from Admiral McRaven's speech resonates the most with you. And as always, if you'd like to read the full book or share it with a new grad, the link will be left below. That's all for now. Take care, stay curious, and I'll see you next time.